Well, good morning. You're here. So I'm a little bit jealous, I've got to admit. About maybe less than an hour ago, you heard from Trisha. And Trisha's got an entire 3 weeks left in her MBA program. So I'm incredibly jealous because she was able to give you this inspirational, retrospective look at her MBA experience. Well, I'm a first year, approaching the end of my first year, but I'm smack dab in the middle of it still. So my perspective is going to be a little bit different. Before we get into that, I'll give you a little bit more background on me. I'm an industry switcher. So me coming back to Owen, I left a nice cushy job in banking. I was a senior executive of a local bank here in town. Just went public last year. 35 years old, and I woke up and thought, you know, if I'm not careful, I'm going to be a banker when I grow up. And I actually landed in banking by accident. You know, a guy at an event in undergrad said, hey, have you done an internship yet? And I said, no. And he said, well, let me connect you. Next thing you know, I've got a job in banking. So it wasn't by design. I did spend some time in the military as well as an intelligence officer in the Marine Corps. But for me, coming back to Owen was all about a transition. And I'm planning to start my own company as well, just like Trisha, while I'm here. We're on a unique path. A lot of our classmates actually have a specific functional area that they want to be in, or a specific industry. For the two of us, we're kind of lone wolves a little bit. So what I want to share with you this morning, though, is 3 things. These are 3 things that completely shocked me when I got here to Owen. And I'm not easily shocked after my time in the military. So the first thing is this little thing called Mod 1. And I don't know if you've heard about Mod 1. And what I'm about to say really applies to Mod 2 as well. It's pretty much your entire first semester. And it is a complete baptism by fire back into the world of education. So what I want you to think of is 16, 18-hour days, just about every day for about 5 months. You know, typically in undergrad, you're going to take, over the course of 1 semester, you might take 5 classes, right? Well, at Owen, and you're going to take 5 classes in your first 8 weeks. It's intense. And those classes are going to be things like she mentioned earlier, finance, accounting, maybe statistics. I actually did take an exemption and took an elective in that first mod. That elective you heard about earlier, launching the venture. I was pulling my hair out. Launching the venture is absolutely, in my humble opinion, the best class you can take at Owen. It teaches you not just how to start a business, but how to actually think about a business as a whole. It's one of the most valuable classes, but it's also the most intense class I think you can take at Owen as well. So I highly recommend it, maybe not in Mod 1, Year 1, like I did. So you're meeting all these new people, you're getting paired up in groups of maybe not just pairs, maybe 5. You're trying to write group papers, which is really hard and awkward to do. You're giving presentations at least once a week. You're reading cases to prepare for class discussion, which actually you are called upon and expected to contribute. So you're always on. There's always something that you're having to do, and that's what yields those 16, 18-hour days. And it's not just like it's rocket science that you're learning. It's just the sheer volume of work that's thrown at you. And I'll tell you, I was shocked by that. I expected to be busy. I did not expect that. But I also think it's incredibly valuable for you. Because in my time as an executive at a publicly traded company on deployment in Afghanistan, I had to learn very quickly how to manage things beyond my own natural capabilities, more than I thought I could manage. And that's what's really valuable about Mod 1, and really Mod 2 as well, is that baptism by fire is incredibly valuable in developing the skills that you'll need as an executive to be able to handle more than you could think you can handle. So it's great. I know it doesn't sound great, but it is great in the end once you're done with it. So that's the first thing, Mod 1. The second thing that really surprised me when I got here is really marketing. And so here's what I mean by that. Every MBA program that you look at, when you go to their website or when you put your address in and they send you the fancy stuff in the mail, it's all slick and they promise you all these things with their marketing. And I thought that for Vanderbilt, this promise of a personalized approach to your education, of an individualized approach, I thought it was just going to be marketing, right? And so she alluded to this. I've been in Nashville for about 10 years. I'm familiar with Vanderbilt. But still, I expected that I was going to come here and just see what it was really like when I got here, you know? But I'll tell you, all that marketing that you read about a personalized approach, nothing could be closer to the truth. I mentioned I'm on a unique path, and I've experienced it myself. So it starts for everybody. To get those concentrations that you heard about, it's really a limited set of classes. So what that does is it opens up your elective possibilities so you can pretty much customize the rest of your degree. And that can really set you apart if you're trying to get into a certain company, to tailor your classes so that you can sound really smart and articulate in those interviews. So that's where it starts. It starts for everybody. Secondly, you can take classes outside of the Owen context. Right now I'm taking a class called Innovation Realization, and I'm paired up with students from the law school and the engineering schools, and we're looking at how to take technology and research from the university and actually commercialize it out into the wider world. And it's a really unique class. Thirdly, on this personalized approach, you can do independent studies. I'm doing one right now as well, but an independent study, you pretty much make up your class. You design the curriculum for your class. You can decide whether you want to be graded or take it pass-fail. You just need a faculty advisor who agrees to oversee it. You give them a plan and follow through with it. But you can go work for a company, not for pay, but work for a company that you might be interested in working for. You can do some directed independent research, which is what I'm doing, into a few entrepreneurial ideas that I have. But independent study is also a way to personalize things. And then finally, and this is a really valuable one as well, executive coaching. So you as a first year, and I'm not sure about second years yet, but as a first year, you get at least 4 sessions of 1 hour with an executive coach, a professional executive coach who does this for a living here in Nashville. And that's something that you'll pay at least $100 a session for, at least, out in the real world. But you get it as a student, as a first year, without, well, maybe you're paying for it indirectly, but it's worth it. One, it's worth it because you're going to be learning things about yourself in Mod 1 and 2 that you're probably going to want to process through. But also, you're going to want to chart your course for where you're going, which company you want to be in, which industry. And an executive coach is really great at drawing things out of you to figure out what exactly do you need to develop to get there. So that executive coaching is also is where that individualized approach really does, the rubber meets the road, so to speak. So that's the second thing. That individualized approach is absolutely real. And then third, you hear in MBA programs that you're going to develop friendships that will last a lifetime, right? I kind of thought, yeah, I'd make friends and that'd be great. But it's really true. You will make some deep friendships while you're here. And it's important for a number of reasons. One, a lot of people who come to a new city, a new place within the city, meeting tons of new people you've never met before, and all of a sudden you're thrown into arguing about strategy in a certain case you're reading. It can be lonely. And a lot of people don't count on that loneliness factor, that intangible that comes up. And some people find that it's hard to perform at the level that you need to perform, particularly Mod 1 and 2, because of that dynamic that's happening inside of you, and it's loneliness. But I'll tell you this. At Owen, the beauty of having a small class of 175-ish people is that you will be known when you get here, and you will know others. For me, it kind of brought to life in the first week or two of being here. I'm walking around the hallways, and multiple times I've had faculty members say, "Hey, Aaron, how's it going?" And I'm thinking, I have no idea who you are yet, but hi. But I was known when I got here. And that's really comforting and an important thing. My class in particular learned this year, and unfortunately we learned it the hard way. We did that through tragedy. A lot of you have probably heard about Taylor Force tragically killed on a trip to Israel. It was really hard for our class. So when he died, it was right during spring break, right before the beginning of the next mod. But in spite of that, new classes starting, we had over 36 students and more, if you include faculty, that traveled all the way to Texas for his funeral. On top of that, we had multiple memorial services here. We got a scholarship named after him. We raised over $30,000 for funeral and travel expenses for him. And the surprising part of this, the impressive part to me, is that all of that happened after just 7 months. We've only been here 7 months. And I would argue that there's a lot of families in this world who, when they lose a family member, that many people don't necessarily travel to the funeral. And so you really do make great friendships very quickly here at Owen, because you'll be known and you'll know others. Now, on a lighter note, you're doing this in the absolute best city in the country, in my opinion. Now, I'm partial. I've been here for a while. But no place is happening like Nashville. If you're a food lover, you've got great restaurants. If you're a music lover, we've got all kinds of kinds, as Miranda Lambert would say. If you like the nightlife, there's all kinds of bars. If you like art, we've got galleries and a wonderful art museum, botanical gardens, green space, and parks. It's just an amazing city. So I think you've made the right decision in coming here. So with that, I'll just close by saying, first, welcome to Nashville. Second, welcome to the Vanderbilt community, and it really is a community here in Nashville and around the world. It's a great network. But most importantly to you, probably at this time, welcome to the Owen family. Like I said, you've absolutely made the right choice. So I look forward to seeing you. I'm hanging around for lunch, so if you've got any questions, just grab me. Thank you.